Hi guys, welcome to this Excel course. In this video, we will be giving you a brief introduction to formulas and operators in Excel. Now Excel is a really useful tool. It can be used just like a calculator to add, subtract, multiply and divide either numbers that you type in yourself. Or you can use cell reference to add up data that you have already got in. But before we get into a little bit more on formulas themselves, there is some useful information to know about mathematical operators. What I mean by that is your symbols that we use in Excel to multiply, divide, add, subtract, and so on. Now Excel uses standard operators for formulas, such as a plus sign for addition, a minus sign for subtraction, an asterisk for multiplication, and a fourth slash for division. It also uses what is known as a caret. For raising something to the power of that is little inverse should be symbol. So for example, 3 to the power of 2 is 3 multiplied by 3, which is 9. And then it also uses an open brackets and the closed brackets parentheses. And this is to enclose parts of your formulas. Now Excel will always calculate this in a particular way. They will always do your parentheses first, followed by your exponents. Then any multiplication or division within the cell, and then your addition and subtraction. Another thing to note is that a formula in Excel will always start with an equal sign. So, to give you some examples of how Excel calculates these formulas, we will look a few examples here. So as I said, you can type in the numbers as they are. So for this in example, we have 5 plus 3 multiplied by 2 with no brackets or anything. Now we can see from this list. The first one in there is multiplication. So we will multiply the 3 by 2. First, give me 6 plus 5 is then going to be equal to 11. So if we copy our formula here, as I said, it only starts with in equals. You will get 11. Now this will change if you enclose the 5 and the 3 within brackets. So obviously we'll add the 5 plus 3 first, because parentheses get calculated first, and then we'll multiply that results, so the 8 by 2 giving you 16. Similarly in this example, it's 12 plus 8 divided by 2. There is no bracket, so we will divide the sign first. So 8 divided by 2 is 4 plus 12 will giving you 16. And again, and this one 12 plus 8 is included by your parentheses, so that gets added first, giving you 20, divided by 2, so your result will be 10. In the last example, we are using our exponents. We are raising the 3 to the power of 2. In this one, there is no brackets, so 3 to the power of 2 is 9. 12 minus 9 is 3. Copy that over. And in this example, we actually include that first section. We want the minus to happen first. We close them rows in brackets. 12 minus 3 is 9. 9 to the power of 2, 81. Now you will notice that in these formulas, I have typed the numbers in manually. But the power of Excel is that you can replace any of these with a cell reference. So for example, I want to reference 11. Instead of the number 3, I want to reference the cell that's content 3. And then the last one place of the 2. And we'll still get the same result. So your formulas in Excel can you contain the numbers that you type in yourself or cell references. some other operators that it's useful to be aware of, but I won't be covered too much in this video. I had the concatenate function, short of concatenation, which basically joins together two or more strings of text and logical operators. So the symbol of this is an ampersand for the concatenate. You can also use the concatenate function itself and the logical operators, which include your greater than or less than, your equal sign, or your not equal to symbol. So these are useful when you start using functions a little bit more and to define the coverage criteria. So for example, in if function, you will find that you might use this quite a lot. So when a value is greater than a number, you might get one result. If it's less than, you might get another. We'll touch on this in more detail in later videos. To give you just a quick example of how the concatenate function, the ampersand, joins together two strings of text, we will look at this example where if we maybe have a first name and a last name, and we will want to join those together so that it comes the full name in one single cell. And this is where you will use this formula. So in the first example, if we copy over our formula, you will notice it simply added the first cell and the second cell together with no space. So if there is no space at the end of John, that will obviously be mashed together. To get around of this, the ampersand and the concatenate function work by you can actually use cell reference and you can use your own typed in text. So in this example we are looking at the value in E22. We want to insert the space between, so to do that didn't insert any text. We use these quotes and walls and anything in between the quote symbols will appear in our cell. And then ampersand, and here we are looking at F22. So if we copy that formula over, you will have the space in between. Now essentially anything you put in between this ampersand. So for example, if I know that his middle name is Ben, we can add that in and it will appear in our cell. A couple of things you might have to notice in this video. In our examples here, we have put a little apostrophe in front of our equal sign. And what that does is it makes the formula actually appears in the cell as you type. So if you don't need a formula to calculate and you want to actually have it in as example, like I have done here, the little apostrophe will mean that anything after that will just appear as text in your cell. Another thing to note is that to make this a little bit more readable in this example, we have actually inserted space between our formula. You don't actually need this in Excel. You could take all those out and it will essentially ignore any space in the formula, unless they are between your quotation marks. So that's it for the formula and the operators that are used to calculate them in Excel. I'm going to jump into a little bit more detail in formulas and functions. You might use them in later videos. But as I have said, this is just a simple introduction to demonstrate how Excel uses operators and calculates your formulas. I hope you find this video useful. If you have any question, let me know, and I see you in the next video.